Good morning, everyone. We are here today to master math for the Oxnard College First Year Experience Program. We have wonderful speakers today. Now, who has ever felt anxiety when you're about to take a math exam? Every single time for me. So today I am pleased to introduce Linda Martinez-Truax, who is our mental health counselor, and Joanne, who is new to the team. And so they're going to walk us through a process of math anxiety reduction. Let's give them a round of applause.
Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, I should say. So math is a very interesting thing, and as the mental health counselor here, it is interesting how many students it brings in. A lot of times students will come in and so many things will be happening in their life, but the big focus is math, or the thing that they tend to save till the end of their journey will be finally taking that math class. Or trying to do it during summer, which is totally inadvisable if it's not your primary subject because it goes so fast. So we're going to talk today about math anxiety reduction. Again, my name is Linda Martinez-Truax, and I'm located on the first floor of the Student Services Building in the Health Center. So, how many of you feel this way? Is that pretty accurate? Okay, next slide. So, oftentimes, a great deal of math anxiety is being called upon. How many of you, when your teacher's teaching, tend to look away or tend to suddenly, do one of these, or if I don't look at them, I disappear? And oftentimes, it's what are we worried about? Because the reality is, if the teacher calls on you and you don't get the question right, the teacher's not going to ridicule you. Oh, see what I mean? You're terrible. Get out of here. Or your classmates aren't going to ridicule you, because the likelihood is that many of your classmates feel the same. So in Arabic, the word algebra actually means to restore and rebalance. Doesn't that sound kind of poetic and fun? Like you really want to take this class. Like it sounds like a class of mindfulness, of connection. And it's not knowing the math that we hate. It's not knowing it that we don't like. So it's not math itself, but it's that preoccupation with, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what it is. I've never known. Next. So where does math anxiety come from? My math teacher. Kidding. But negative experiences growing up are a big precursor. When we begin math in school, what our experience was. If when we did get a question wrong when we were in first or second grade, and first and second graders are pretty mean. You can be kind of mean to each other. And what those responses were, if people did laugh, or maybe you didn't have that support system at home. I know I didn't. In fourth grade, I had my dad help me with a math assignment, and I thought like, oh cool, I'm gonna ace this one, and I got an F. And that was the day I realized that I'm alone in this ship, and I have one oar, and I realized like, wow, this is really on me. So there wasn't that assistance, because I was the first student, the first person in my family to go to college. How many of you are the first in your family? There you go. Lack of support in home, as I said, to tutor and offer assistance. Poor teaching, it does happen. Sometimes students do get passed, especially in the elementary, junior high school level, will just get passed from grade to grade without really mastering the previous year or the subject, or just getting by or doing enough to pass. High cost of tutoring, being passed from one grade to the next, as I said. Next slide. So, that's you. So, what I like to talk about is our tigers. So imagine right now if I released a tiger in this room, and this tiger's hungry. But I said, you have to have eyes forward, you have to be paying attention, and at the end of this, we're going to go ahead and do a quiz. So the tiger starts over here, and you can hear the snarling, and naturally, you're kind of like shifting your energy back. You're shifting your focus back. you're really happy because it's over there, so it's going to occur before it gets you. So you're kind of like, man, I hope that the tiger gets full, handles all of that. But now the tiger's over here. And your anxiety, your fight or flight response is activated, your pupils are dilated, your mouth is dry, your neck and your shoulders are tense, your heart's pumping, you're sweating, you need oxygen, your cortisol is being released, your digestion slows, your blood pressure rises. That's anxiety right there. How many of you can attest to feeling these things in any capacity? Whether it be math, whether it be life. So when we do that though, we can't learn. Because how can we fight the tiger and say, I don't know, what would be a good math example? The quadratic equation of this is that. But what we tend to do is we tend to bring in our own tigers. So think about if we left home and we had an argument with a parent. We had a disagreement with a sibling. If you're in a relationship, how relationships have their days. If you're worried, if you are worried about the insurance or the bills or where you have to be or the job you have to go to, or you don't know if you're going to do well or you have an interview. So a lot of times what we do is we bring in our own tigers. And it's really easy to do that, and I catch myself doing it as well if I'm worried about things that happen and I'm like, okay, I need to separate. But how do you separate? So that's what we're going to work on today, is how to reduce these symptoms and what to do to help allow us to learn to relax. So individuals who went under functional MRIs with math anxiety, who were told that the next problem will be a math problem, exhibited activity in the same part of their brain as we experience physical harm and pain. Can you imagine that? If I said, okay, you're next and you're going to demonstrate the next math equation for this group. A recent study by Stanford's medical school confirmed that increased activity in the fear centers of our brain directly reduce functioning in the numerical processing centers of our brain. So what does that mean? That means we can't do math when we're freaking out. We can't stop the tiger and go, hold on. I need to switch gears really quick and I need to answer this question. But again, we need to remember that our tigers are the things that we bring in. What are the things that we're telling ourselves? What are the experiences? Are we walking in going, oh, today's just going to be a bust. I'm going to do terrible on this test. I'm not going to do well. I should just quit. And now you sit down and you're listening and you're just, and all those things are happening, but you're trying to take in, but nothing's absorbing. When our fear centers are active, our math processing ability shuts down. So you can't do both. Symptoms: stomach aches, sweaty palms, racing heartbeat, lack of focus, lack of self-confidence, negative thinking or zoning out. How many of you does this look familiar to? When I became a mom 7 months ago, I had all of those. I was freaking out. Okay, next one. Fear of failure, fear of ridicule, fear of testing. What question am I trying to ask? That's a big one that students bring up in sessions, is they'll say, well, did you go to tutoring? Or did you ask for help? Well, yeah, but I just kind of sat there. And I go, well, why? Well, I didn't know what to ask. Well, what was the problem? Well, this was the problem, but I didn't know what the question was because I don't even know what I'm looking at. So where to start? Is it really that assignment for that day, or is it actually 3 assignments back that lead up to that assignment for the day? Loss and grief, life situations, mental health conditions. A lot of these exacerbate our worry and our fear. So learning what's happening in your life or addressing them and making changes is really, really crucial. If time management is an issue for you, learning how to gain skills in that. If you're in a poor relationship, or an abusive relationship, learning how to separate, learning how to create boundaries, knowing what it is that you need. Being so terrified in class that your mind literally goes blank. Next one. So let's subtract anxiety from your math experience. So let's work on that. So this may sound kind of funny, but breathing is one of the biggest answers. And clearly we're all doing it because we're still here. But learning how to breathe is pivotal. So a lot of times when I see, and I'm looking around the room too, and I see students, some of you breathing from your chest. But when you're breathing from your chest, you're actually hyperventilating. So it's learning to bring the breathing down to the stomach. And when we have all those things we're dealing with, all the tigers in our life, we definitely breathe from our chest. How many of you catch yourself talking and then you go, and then you talk, and then you go, it's like a speech student's worst fear, you know, like, because you're not breathing up there, because you're going, I need to scan the room, I need to do this, you know, but, so we're gonna breathe. So what I want you to do is I want you to imagine two things. I want you to imagine a candle with a flame, and I want you to imagine a balloon. So let's start with the candle. So give it a color, give it a mood. Is it in a dim room? Is it in this room? And the candle's going to be sitting right in front of you. I'm going to have you close your eyes shortly. Okay. The next one, I want you to imagine a balloon. And imagine this balloon in your belly. It could be any shape or size or color. But what we're going to work on is on the inhale, inflating that balloon. And on the exhale, deflating that balloon. But on the deflate, we're going to exhale in a way that's long and deliberate, and we're making that flicker. We're making that candle flicker. We're not blowing it out, so it's not, okay, take a deep breath. Because again, breathing from our chest, hyperventilating. How many of you have been in math class and actually have felt your heartbeat? You know, felt it where you're just sitting there going, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. Oh, this is bad. Everybody knows. They can see it. My palms are sweaty. Things are happening. And then you start going, I feel funny because you're not breathing. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate. You're going to put your hand on your belly. And I'll do a breath for you because it's a process. So on the inhale, we're going to inhale. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to pause our breath. Then we're going to exhale. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to inhale through our nose. 1, 2, 3. So what we want to feel is our hand actually expanding and then deflating. Expanding. And some of you will say, nothing's happening, I'm not breathing. If you feel a little, we're going to do it a few times in a row, and if you feel a little like, then that's good. Because what that means is you haven't been giving your brain enough oxygen, and now you finally are. So let's close our eyes. Imagine the candle in front of you and just see it. And just focus on the flicker of the flame for a little bit. And on 3, we're going to go ahead and inhale through our nose. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale through your mouth. And we want to imagine that balloon inflating and deflating. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. If you're struggling pushing out that last breath, because I see some of you have gone to the inhale and quickly to the exhale, it's learning to trust yourself. As you inhale and you hold, trust yourself that your body will breathe. But on the exhale, as it's releasing through the mouth, feel the ground beneath your feet, wiggle your toes. So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3. Focus on the flame. Inhale, seem, what we're doing right now may seem a little like, well, it's breathing. But what it's doing is it's deactivating that fight or flight response. It's turning the tiger into a beautiful little kitten. And the things that we bring into the room is it's getting us to focus on now. Because the reality is if we're stressed out about things, we can't do anything about it while we're sitting in the middle of the classroom, right? If our car payment's due that day, can we do anything about it while we're in that classroom for that hour or 2 hours? So it's learning to say, when I sit here and I focus, I'm going to be present. Next day. So rules for success. And a big one, immediately when you don't understand something, ask. How many times are you able to take a class at this school? One class. How many times are you allowed to fail a class? 0, I like that answer. But the answer is 3. So if you take a course and you don't successfully complete it in 3 attempts, you can no longer take it in the district. You have to take it either in Los Angeles district, Santa Barbara district, or a different district. And a lot of times what happens is I get students on their 3rd attempt who will suddenly say, okay, I need to learn how to ask questions, I need to know where the tutors are, I need to get on board because I need to transfer, I need to do all these things, but now it's filled with this major tiger behind them. So now it's not really about learning yet again, it's about getting through it. So understanding and knowing that it's okay to ask for help. How many of you are reluctant to ask for help? Sometimes? What about reluctant to talk to a teacher? Reluctant to raise your hand in class? A little bit. But how many times have you been so relieved when a student raised their hand? And you're like, you just want to be like, amen. Yes, exactly, amen. You asked it. But are you looking at that student like, wow, you're such a dummy? You know, you want to like buy that student lunch, right? So think about that. And think about the fact that your college years are going to go by so quickly. You know, then you're going to get into the real world and get wonderful jobs and do all these things, but you're still going to have to ask questions. So this is a wonderful playground to learn how to start working through the anxiety, working through the social anxiety, raising your hand and just putting it out there like, hey, you know, I didn't really get that. Can you go over it again? Or what do you mean by what you said? Using resources, getting a tutor. You know, if you qualify for services like through our EAC, you can actually qualify for one-on-one tutoring. So if you have any, if you've had an IEP, if you have any mental disability, if you have something that you haven't been diagnosed with yet, you know, I do diagnose as well, and you are able to come in and we can talk about things that are going on in life. Reading ahead, resisting temptation to compare yourself. How many do that? Compare yourself to others. That's a big one. That's a big, big, big one. But what we don't do is we don't say to ourselves, you know, I came to school today and I really applied myself and I feel good about that. We tend to focus on what we didn't do. But to learn how to get ourselves motivated is about telling ourselves what we did do. Some days that's just doing laundry. Like, yes, I have clean underwear. You know, so it's really tapping into what do we need. If you don't get that support from home, if you don't get the motivation from home or from the person you're dating or your friends, A, you can change your friends. You can't change your family. B, you can change the person you're dating. But C, you got to learn how to motivate yourself. You got to learn how to get on your own team. Next one. You know, resources that I found as I was doing some research on this was Khan Academy, Yay Math, and of course YouTube. And I know you know a lot of the other ones. I really liked these top two because they're free, and there's so many examples of especially algebra and statistics. There's wonderful examples, and the Yay Math actually has the classroom setting, so it shows people in class and you get to see as a student. You know, so it's tapping into one another. I've developed a lot of groups on campus, and what the role and the idea is to meet each other. How many of you actually hang out together? Okay, sometime, I don't know. How many of you would like to make new friends? I'd like to still make new friends. I mean, I hope that never ends. But it's making that move. It's if you're really good at something and somebody else isn't, or it's kind of going, hey, do you want to study together? Hey, do you think you could show me this? You know, taking the opportunity to step over into and working through that anxiety, working through the rejection. The fear of rejection is a big thing. But asking for help is the biggest, and that comfort with asking for help. What is, how am I doing on time, by the way? Oh, I don't even know when I started. 5 minutes, okay, so 5 minutes. So what questions do you guys have today about math anxiety? What comes up for you, or share what comes up in your mind, and let's see if others as well feel that. What's a thought that comes up? If I handed you a math test right now. Okay.
When I was a student, I mean, I went through math anxiety as well. When I would take a test, I would get very distracted if I noticed the people to my left and my right are writing a lot and I'm not writing anything.
Do you guys feel that?
I mean, like the moment that the teacher passes the test, I'm like, okay, brain freeze, don't know what to do. And then those guys are writing. I go, uh-oh, I'm going to fail. Negative that comes to mind. So I have to learn to control that.
Right. What about when you're doing the test and the person next to you turns it in?
Right.
Does that freak you out? But how do you know they're right?
Exactly.
They could have went C, 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 C. We don't know what they did. How many of you freak out about being the last one to turn in the test? Why?
You think you can be judged?
Judgment?
Yeah.
You're being thorough. You know, when I took my state exam to become a therapist, I went down to the wire. I think I had like 47 seconds left before I hit submit. You know, because I needed that time. I wanted to check things. And I was seeing people get up and I'm all, you know, just like, okay, focus. No, Linda, focus. Think of something happy. If you can create laughter within yourself, because you can't laugh and have fight or flight at the same time. You can't be like, ah, tiger, you know? You can't, unless, then we start to get more into psychosis, and that's a whole different kind of presentation, but there's medication for that. But it's really finding something that makes you laugh. If you find yourself getting really anxious, tap into some stand-up comedy. Tap into something that makes you laugh. Tap into something that you thought like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. So to reset. So what else? What else comes up? What happens in your mind when you're sitting in front of an exam?
Just like the time constraint that we have, we kind of like kind of rush through the test. Yeah.
Rushing?
And then, you know,
Okay. What about for you?
Forgetting once you get it. Forgetting all the formulas that you need to memorize or something.
Mind going blank.
Yeah. And once I get it, I don't know, like.
So when that happens again, is it's resetting, grounding yourself. Take those breaths. Take those breaths, reset, tap in, and let's get that file cabinet ready. Because it's in there. It's absolutely in there. Anybody else? What about you? What happens when you think about math?
I feel butterflies.
Okay, so for you it's physical. Physical, okay. How many of you feel the physical symptoms? Anxiety? So let yourself know this feeling will pass. This feeling will pass. Exercise has been proven that they actually did a study, and I don't know which school it was, but there was a study done that said that students who exercise prior to a test tend to do better than students that do not exercise prior to a test because it opens everything up. So if you're really struggling with a subject, get there early and do some laps. Get there early and speed walk or do something to kind of just get the mind going. But I thank you guys for letting me present today, and I hope it was helpful. And you know, the services are there for you at the health center. with myself, you know, or with Joanna, with the doctors that are there, with Deanna, a really great bunch. So take care of your mental health and your physical health. And